Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Daily Live Exit. It is January the 4th. It's a Thursday, and Everton are playing in an FA Cup game on a Thursday. A Thursday night on ITV4. So no, not having to look for a dodgy stream tonight.
No, just before the dodgeball.
Just before the 18th showing of Groundhog Day. Let's hope it isn't Groundhog Day for Everton. Let's hope we go there and win and break this poor run we're on. It'd be nice, it'd be fitting to break the poor run with a cup win, having the poor run starting with a cup defeat.
Symmetry.
But what will be interesting, we discussed this on the preview, and I know you did on your starting 11, is what kind of team Sean Dyche puts out tonight. Because obviously Everton are, I don't want to say walking wounded, because lots of teams are struggling with injuries, and Palace have got half a dozen out as well tonight. But we are some of our players do look like they're in need of a little bit of a rest, don't they?
Yeah. Beat two teams that aren't particularly asked. Let's be honest. No, it will be though, won't it? It'll be two clubs that aren't particularly bothered. Palace, they're playing at home, so there's a more urgent need to win the game.
Yeah.
But in terms of, it's sad, but that's the way football is now. Teams obviously prioritise Premier League football than the FA Cup, because why wouldn't you? That's
manager did say that yesterday.
Where the money comes from, and that's where the status comes from, and that's what pays all the bills. And the problem is that the teams that are in the top 4, top 6, whatever you want to say, they are more destined to win it because they have bigger squads, and when it comes to the business end of the season, they can juggle more or spin more plates. Well, not even at the end of the season. Now, when it really matters, when it really matters, they can put out the teams, they can put out the second team and get through. So we'd all love. I mean, I hate that phrase, a good cup run. There's no such thing as the only good cup run is when you lift the cup. There's nothing else really.
Well, we had a good cup run in the Carabao Cup, didn't we? Yeah. We got to the quarter final.
How's that feel?
Yeah, different field.
Yeah.
We had it a few years ago in the Carlo. We got to both quarter-finals of both competitions. It didn't feel good. We lost both of them at home.
2 semi-finals under Martinez. So means absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
means nothing unless you're winning the thing. Put out whatever team you want to put out, honestly, because the idea of just going. Also, the idea of going strong doesn't mean you're going strong. If all your players are fatigued or ready to pick up injuries, that could cost them 3 or 4 Premier League games. So that's another phrase I love hearing. Go strong. Well, what's go strong? Because only the people at the club will know the condition of the players and where they are and what they need rest wise. And next weekend there's a really big game against Aston Villa at Goodison Park. So they have to be ready for that.
It's horrible, isn't it? Because the cup always should be a priority for someone like Everton, because we're obviously not going to win the league, and we're not close to challenging for a Champions League place. And right now we're not, although out of our control this one, but we're not close to challenging for the European place because of what's happened with the points deduction, and therefore one of the 2 cups seemed the most likely route to a little bit of success. But I think if this game had been Sunday or Monday, it would have had a slightly different feel to it, because we would have had that extra bit of rest. But we have just played on Saturday, and with the first game of the weekend again, hadn't played 4 games in 11 days already. So just over 2 weeks, that 5th game, when we've got 3 or 4 injuries to the squad as well, and players looking tired. They've played every game. But it does represent, I said this yesterday, it does represent an opportunity for someone like Danjuma, who there's a lot of noise about, as Sean Dyche would say, with him possibly returning to Spain. I know that there's a couple of clubs in Italy want him. I know Milan wanted him, didn't he? He turned them down for a year. He's probably kicking himself every day now. And there's a couple of clubs in France who are very interested in him and want to take him and will probably guarantee him games. So if he's going to remain here, this has got to be a game that he grabs by the scruff of the neck. And it's got to be a game Sean Dyche plays him in.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, isn't it? He's got to. If he doesn't play him tonight, then what's the point? The lad might as well just pack his bags. And if he doesn't utilise him from our point of view as well, then what are we doing? You know, because are we just going to flog Dwight McNeil again, or you know? So for me, I think he has to start. Dobbin, yeah, why not? Why not just give him a go? And the same with probably better up front, and you know, the manager just has to make the changes.
He hasn't got huge choice.
No, that's the thing. He hasn't got anything in midfield. They have to just play the three, unless he changes the system again. But that's the problem. The squad is so small and so limited, and that's what people have got to take into.
What about Mackenzie Hunt? Has he got a chance of making the debut tonight?
I've not seen enough of him to make a judgment on him, but
manager seems to.
If the manager feels like if the manager feels like he's gonna go, he isn't gonna go strong, then why not? Why not give him a go? What's the worst that can happen for the kid? The kid gets a debut, and we might have another player on our hands that we can suddenly be looking at every week. If he's sitting on the bench every single week, then at some point you're gonna have to say, well, we're gonna have a little look at this lad to just see whether he's got the ability something to offer. Otherwise, we're just filling spaces on the bench. And a day might come when he is needed. So why not have a look at him? And I think people are going to have to get out the mindset of because it is a Thursday night. It is a few days, maybe a few extra days. You have maybe there is a chance the Corey plays because he's had a couple of days training, things like that. But I think where we are right now, I know certainly I look at this game and it doesn't. It's just nothing there. I just look at it and think I'm not excited by it. I'm not I don't want us to lose, of course, but I'm not excited about it. I'm not thinking, third round the FA Cup again. Modern football, it's crap. They've ruined it. They have to, haven't they? It's like people have just got over Christmas and just want to chill out, and suddenly you're telling people, you've got to go to Palace on a Thursday night. You know, there's no trains home, so you're going to have to drive or get on coaches and all that. It's like, so if you're going in a car, you're probably having to leave now to get there.
Why wasn't Newcastle and Sunderland tonight? Although Sunderland, I suppose, played. They couldn't be, could they? Because they played Monday. They played Monday. But, you know,
Monday.
Well, what I mean is there's some of those. Yeah. What I mean is that's a closer trip for both clubs, isn't it? And it's obviously a big game, isn't it? You know, it's a derby. Why are we the ones that our fans have got to trudge down to London? You know, John Lane's gone already. He's set off. You know, why are they having to drive down? Like you said, it's like difficult for people to get home. Our next away game's Fulham on a Tuesday night. Another one with the trains are gone. They're finished before the game's finished. You know, there really isn't any consideration whatsoever for the supporters.
And who wants this game on TV? Genuinely, who was banging on the door going, whoa, you better put Palace and Everton on live? Honestly.
It does seem a curious choice. Everton obviously will take it because they get a whack of money for it, and Palace are exactly the same. But I just think listen, I hope we get through. I hope they've got, you know, they've definitely got no Elise. I think I've seen somewhere, but Mateta's out. I think someone put there's 9 or 6 of their players out, and obviously plays for us. So, you know, check the core, he's out, and people like that. So Everton will have an opportunity. It's not like, they've got full strength and we've got no players. It's not that kind of game. We won there, obviously, in November, I think it was. So we've got an opportunity to get through tonight, which means we'd have a game in a few weeks, you know, another cup tie. And obviously then if you get a home tie in that, then you start thinking, all right, let's see what happens. But how seriously do you think Sean Dyche is going to take this himself? Do you think just right now this game's a bit of a pain in the arse for him? Or do you think he will be looking and thinking, no, you know, we get through here, keep momentum. Because obviously we want to win because we want to build some momentum again. We just lost the momentum what we had. We've got to build it back up. And sometimes these games give you that. You nick a 2-1 away or something and you're in the next round and people feel good about it. It'd be interesting what his mindset is. Is his mindset to try and pick the likes of Danjuma and Dobbin, maybe Beto, maybe give Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey a game at centre-back and just rest the others and try to get levels of people who are on the bench up in case they are needed? Or will he be just, no, this is a win at all costs kind of thing?
No, it's definitely not going to be the latter. Definitely not going to be the latter.
Kind of hinted at it yesterday, didn't he?
He's going to put a team out that he probably thinks can, well, he's not going to think they can win, but he's going to put a team, is the team he's got, the best team he's got to put out in the best condition. And that'll be it. And because he doesn't know who we're playing, who we're up against. So how can he judge you if we're going to win or not? All he can do, and that's all you can do in every game, isn't it? Put the best team out that is available to you.
I'd like to see Timothy given a bit of a go tonight as well. Maybe, I'm talking like maybe last 20 or so. It depends on what's going on, of course. But he's another one. He's not going to start Premier League games. He's got on in the odd one. I know he's not ready yet. He's not really at that level yet. But we've got to give these bits of experience when we can. You'd have to judge that by how the game's going. If it's 1-1, he's going with Beto and you've got Dom. Then obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin needs a goal. He's desperate for a goal, and he's someone you'd put on, isn't he? But I wonder if there's an opportunity for 2 up front tonight for him at some stage. 3 at the back and maybe try it that way. Because we aren't blessed with like loads of midfielders, are we? So he's got to, I suppose, play a system.
And they're the midfielders for the next month, by the way, over a month.
Because Garner's gone. You know, it might even be worth him. I'm not saying he would do this, but playing Danjuma wide and playing like Dwight McNeil, if he's going to play him, I'm kind of contradicting, but I'm just trying to think of who his options are to give someone like James Garner. So like play like Amadou Onana for like an hour and have Andre Gomez and say Dwight McNeil, say they were a 3 central and then replace Onana with James Garner for half an hour. Do you know what I mean? To give them a rest that way. I don't know whether that works, and it probably doesn't, but that's a way to try to manage people's minutes as well. Because like you just said, Amadou Onana and James Garner are key for us for the rest of this month. Idrissa Gana Gueye's not here. Obviously, Abdoulaye Doucouré, I don't personally believe he'll be risked tonight.
No.
Dele looks like he's out for a while, so he's not going to be used anyway, but he's a midfield player. That's the only reason why I'm putting him in before people lose the shit. So, you know, we're talking about Andre Gomez going out the door this month. I mean, what would you do with Andre Gomez? If someone come in for him this month, would you just let him go? Or would you go, actually, I don't think we can afford to.
I don't think we can afford to. I don't.
Without replacing.
I don't think we can afford to. Because we haven't got any midfielders.
Yeah. The problem.
So, yeah. Not having enough play. And that's maybe why he might look at someone like Mackenzie Hunt tonight.
Just to see
what he's got. But we're on a tightrope, and I think people have got to, you know, we've got to understand that, haven't we? We've got, you know,
if we keep people fit, I think we'll be fine. We'll be more than fine this season. But the problems come when you're losing players, and we've lost Ashley Young. You know, we'd lost Seamus Coleman. We got him back. We lost him again. We've lost Idrissa Gana Gueye. You know, we're still waiting on Doucouré to come back. These are big important players for us, and if we lose others, that's when it does become tough, doesn't it? It becomes really tough. So we just have to try to muddle through, I suppose. And maybe this month's come at the right time for our squad. The less games, the chance for people to just recharge the batteries, get it back down to one.
There's still games this month, though, isn't it? I mean, I know, like, you know, there's still a game. We're going to have to still play tonight. We're still playing
11 days.
We still play next weekend, you know, and then obviously there's the break, and then we play on the Tuesday night.
Well, unless we win tonight, and then we've got a game.
We play on the Tuesday night. But this is something Dyche mentioned yesterday, doesn't it? He must have mentioned it to the written press. He said they need to scrap the winter break and have the games over the 2 months rather than all in December. He said because that would help them more, basically.
Made a good point.
Because like everything else in football, they come out with this great idea and it looks great on paper. But then you look about. I remember when they brought it in, I was like, "This is a really good idea." And it was like, it's going to be in the third, like the third weekend or second and third week in January. How does that work? Your players have already got injured or are already exhausted by then, and you've already played all those games. He's absolutely right. Get rid of that stupid December amount of games and just play them over the 2 months and even it out. It's just so stupid.
It's not even a true winter break. Have a true winter break for everybody, like Germany do. I mean, there's no chance they'll ever do it because they're obsessed with Christmas football.
Well, they're obsessed with playing football when no one else is playing football, so they get all the TV views. But if the Premier League brand is so strong, people would watch it anyway.
Or just do a thing like we said, play one game a day. So, and have them on live over 2 weeks. Then you're getting full audience on that, aren't you? And you're giving it a break for the players because get rid of that stupid quarter final in Christmas week in the Carabao Cup. Get it, play that this month. And just extend it a little bit. You know, take the Carabao. Well, the Carabao Cup is going to one leg, isn't it? Just it's going to be a one-off game. So where you've got 2 in January, make the quarter final and the semi-final then in January, or make the semi-final the first week in February, and then the final, whatever. Because there's no point complaining about players in too many games and then piling games in so the players are. And everyone's sick of it by the end. The product's terrible. You know what? I seen all the stuff the other night about Liverpool New. What a game and all that. Like a couple of my mates who are Liverpool fans were like, I was there, it was crap. As a game, obviously Liverpool did really well, but they were like, seen loads of things that this was an amazing game. They were like, it was crap. 2 teams looked tired and it was crap. And that's I haven't seen a good Everton game over the Christmas. Well, the Spurs game was all right, I suppose. But the other games were garbage. City was rubbish. Wolves was rubbish. You know, I've seen other teams and I've heard managers complaining about it, saying they're not all just going, let's all pretend that we're tired. They're complaining for a reason. I think they can see what they're seeing in front of them. So it does need to be spread out so that there's less games. Moving on from, obviously, the Palace game tonight. Moving on from that, Ben Godfrey again linked with a move yesterday away from Everton. Another player who you look at and go, can we afford to let him go because he can play 2 or 3 positions for us when we got a squad. Newcastle 9 million is a number that's been mentioned. I'd expect he's got 18 months left. I'd be looking at 15 million. Whether people go, he's worth it, he isn't. He's played for England and he's played in the Premier League. Therefore, you know, Liverpool normally get 15 million for someone who's played 2 games for them, and then Bournemouth buying for 25 million. But just forget about the figure for right now. Ben Godfrey leaving, is that something that you would imagine Everton would do? Is it a case with Ben Godfrey where the manager obviously prefers Michael Keane to a lot of things? But he might look and go, well, I'm not really going to use Ben. And if I get that money, that frees us up to get a couple of players in, which I will use. Do you think it'd be that, or do you think Everton would look and go, loans are all we can do this month, and we can't afford to lose anyone because...
No, I think if a good offer come and they'd sell him.
Yeah.
I do. I think if a good offer come in, and they'd have to decide what a good offer is. But we've seen it before. You know, the manager said yesterday about players leaving. He said it's to do with the club will make that decision, not him. So if a good offer comes, and then maybe if they've got irons in the fires elsewhere, then they can turn that money round and use it as down payments maybe on a player or 2 players even that can fill 2 positions rather than... And that's what they've got to do. They've got to spin plates. As you said, he's got 18 months left. He's not someone who looks like he's going to sign a new contract at the club. So get the money you can for him. But long as you've got
26 soon,
as long as you've got someone coming in, this idea that he's like a hot prospect, he's not. So, you know, get what you want in, and if you can get maybe a couple of positions for the money for down payments, then do that and keep spinning plates.
You're not someone you're overly concerned about losing.
I think he's rubbish. I do. I think he's rubbish. Genuinely, if he was good, he'd be in the team. He's not. He's not good enough for Everton. He's fast. He's strong. Go and play in the NFL then.
Is he?
I just don't see him as a footballer.
Is he someone though who has suffered because we haven't?
Yeah, of course he has. Of course he has. We haven't developed him. We haven't developed him. We brought him from Norwich and we didn't develop him as a player. We've done what we've done with so many players. We've just gone, yeah, come here, mate. What's the plan? You've got to leave them in the team. And that's because of all the managers. That's because of all the managers.
And injuries. Because I think Frank Lampard wanted to double down on him. He went out for 3 months.
He didn't want to double down with him because he played him in a 3.
Well, yeah.
Frank Lampard didn't have a clue what he was doing with him. He played him in a 3.
He wanted to play him in a 3.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but he didn't wait because he didn't know. There was no plan for it. Like when we bought Branthwaite, that's like a thing where you go, he's already the finished article in a way. So, because you're paying that money for him, so if he's the finished article and you pay 20 million for him, then he's a starter. It's as simple as that. He's a starter, and he was never a starter. Lost his way, not his fault. Lost his way. Then he's thrown into different positions because he's an asset and because he's got pace, and they used him in a certain way. But we haven't developed them. We haven't done with what we've done with, like, say, Branthwaite, where you can see that they're trying to build something because they know they've got something there.
Yeah,
and they did in a way the same with Mason Holgate, but Mason Holgate was younger, so they were trying to move him along. But again, that comes down to managers. That comes down to not having a manager and a director of football who's strong enough to say, no, we're playing him every single game, and that's the club. In a nutshell, in the last 8 years, isn't it? Not developing people, not having a consistent line. Where it's the sort of starting to get that now. You can start to see that because they've had to, and people like Michalenko, it's starting to bear fruit because they've had to play and they've learned how to play in that time. And McNeil's the same in the shorter period. But no, it's a player who doesn't play. He sits on the bench all the time and plays in that position. I think you just let him go.
Let him go, yeah.
Get your money for him.
But we have to, don't we? If we had a lot of money and we had room in the budget and all that, you can make a decision selfishly with the player then go, no, actually, because we'll see whether we can make him better and he covers positions. He's not playing, and obviously in emergency situations, Seamus Coleman can play centre-back and Michalenko can play centre-back, and we've already got Michael Keane, we've got Branthwaite, we've got Tarkowski. Yeah, probably a case of, we get the money in for him, he's off the wage bill. Let him go somewhere else and see if he can get on with his career.
And if he goes somewhere, he probably will play. And you mentioned it there, probably in a 3, he'd probably play. But he's not going to play for us. Well, he hasn't, has he? He's played twice, is it, this season?
3 times.
So.
And the thing about it is, he played really well at Burnley and was back out the side the next game but Michael Keane stayed in. So he's behind Michael Keane in the pecking order, isn't he? So therefore, and some people might go, well, Michael Keane's a better defender. And that's
but he is a better defender.
No, so there you go.
He is a more natural defender.
So that's a problem, isn't it, for Godfrey? Because what we're saying is, you'd have him in a 3 because of recovery pace and because he's strong, but you still want 2 other defenders in there with him who'll defend properly. Whereas when he's when he's coming in at 2, and again it is probably because of the development, and he struggles. So interesting to see what would happen with him. Steve P says, Baz, have you seen Welsh centre mid for Birmingham, Jordan James? Yeah, seen quite a bit of him. He's quality, but he's moving to, well, you say, he's about to sign for Atlanta for £4 million. Yeah. Gus Hill from PSV. Not sure about Gus Hill, to be honest. We've been linked with him in the past, I think, haven't we? Malik Tillman would be good. He's only 21. Yeah, depends how much they want for Tillman. I'm not sold on Till, to be honest with you. I'm really not. But Gary Waters, howdy. Oscar Bob and Ahmed Diallo, says DP. Yeah, well, we looked at Diallo in the summer and then obviously got injured, didn't he? Well, United wanted to look at him. He got injured, got a knee injury, didn't he? We should try to get him, absolutely. We need to give contract Dave a ring at Man U and see if he can send them our way. Oscar Bob, don't know how much City are going to use him. Obviously, he was excellent in the Champions League game the other week. Scored, actually, didn't he? But I would be ringing them up, definitely, because we are looking for someone in a wide area. Makes sense to get one of those type players, a younger player who has got something totally different than what we've got. And then Andre Santos from Chelsea. Well, Forest didn't play him, did he? And now he's a centre mid, good on the ball. I suppose he's... We only have 2. Mind you, Harrison's out the championship, isn't he? So, 2 domestic loans. Maybe, mate. They should definitely be looking at these. The only problem is, someone like Santos in Chelsea, they've recalled him from Forest because he's not played. Will Everton guarantee him games? It's great going, we need a centre mid and all that. Is he good enough to play in Everton's midfield? Now, Sean Dyche might go, actually, we'll have him on the bench and we'll give him game time and stuff, but I don't know. Because once Idrissa Gana Gay's back and you've got Onana and James Garner and Decore, is a younger lad from Chelsea going to break them up? Don't know. The winger thing I totally get. We'll see. Nick Williams says, don't get this not bothered attitude about the cup. Yes, the league priority, but we need to realise we've won 8 out of 20 in the league. Luton won't pick up more points. No, I know Luton won't pick up more points, but we don't want to be in that, Nick. And it's not I don't know. I don't think Ped's saying he's not bothered. I think he's saying he's not excited about it. That's just a feeling.
How do you know Luton won't pick up more points, by the way? They've been
I don't think
absolutely fantastic.
I don't think they will. I think they've had an unbelievable run at the moment. They'll win more games. They're the danger out of 3. The other 2 are gone. Luton are the one we've got to watch. I think Everton will be fine, but Luton are the ones we have to keep an eye on. Absolutely, they are. And they're just miles better than the other 2. The manager's brilliant, by the way. Their manager's brilliant. And they've got... The thing with Luton is they're physically a strong side. Kenilworth Road is horrible because it's tiny and tight. It's a bit like Bournemouth. 11,000. You go there, it's a difficult place to go and win. I watched them against Chelsea at the weekend, and for an hour, Chelsea were dominant. But the minute Barkley scored, Chelsea were hanging on from 3-0. So they'll give teams a go, don't get me wrong. I still think Everton will win more games than them. But they will run us close. But you don't want that thing of going, we'll be fine. I think we will, but but you can't say it with any certainty, can you? Because if we get more injuries, Nick, we're in trouble. I think what I'm saying with the Cup tonight is the players, it's fine. And Nick also said we've got 10 days off tonight, no need for wholesale changes. But if they look at the levels of our players and they see Tarkowski's like struggling for recovery and things like that, you can't go, well, he's got a break after tonight for 10 days, so he'll be sound, because that's when players get injuries. Sean Dyche isn't going to turn around and go, oh, you know, what's Ped saying? He's not bothered, right? I'll play all the under-21s, is he? He's going to pick. Yeah. He's going to pick a team that is fit to play. We're just saying, I can understand them making those changes. Dan Juma needs to play, doesn't he? If he's staying, he needs to play. He's not getting games in the Premier League. He needs to be a viable option. Beto needs games. Lewis Dobbin. Jack Harrison's running on vapor at the moment. You know, you need to make those changes. It's not a case of going, oh, just get us out the cup, it doesn't matter. Will I be absolutely distraught if we get beat tonight? No. Will I be upset? Yes. I don't like Everton losing friendlies, let alone bleeding cup games. But I would understand it if the manager made 4 changes and give players who were on the bench a game because he felt he needed to freshen it up. I'd go, I get it. I get it. In an ideal world, on FIFA, you play your full strength team. then those players don't. But if you've ever played Championship Manager or you played FIFA and you look at your players and your players are running on empty, you make changes, don't you?
Played his full strength team on Saturday.
Yeah, he played this. Yeah,
that end up.
He done that. He should have made wholesale changes at Wolves, Nick, and we might have got something. Or we might have been in a game.
It's okay saying play your best team, but if your best team is knackered and are struggling, then they're not your best team today, are they? You know, and that might mean
the whole point of having a squad is to them players really. I know it doesn't work out like that because there's 25 players in Everton's squad, and really, he's never going to pick 25 players to play games. But you should have 18 and 19 players who should be able to play at any time because they're your squad, and those it shouldn't matter. If you're an Evertonian and you get a team sheet tonight and it's got Mackenzie Hunt in it, and it's got Lewis Dobbin, and it's got Beto, and it's got Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey and Seamus Coleman at right back and things, and you shouldn't be stamping your feet and going, what? Because they're all squad players. They're just Everton players, so they put the shirt on tonight and they'll go out and give it everything. I'm not saying he'll do that, but we have got to be very careful, especially with our midfield. Like Pets just said, the 3 midfield, and we haven't got one of them available. So our midfielders of Onana and James Garner are our midfielders for this month. We've got big games coming up. Who's to say Idrissa Gana Gay's going to get over his calf injury quickly? He might go with Senegal. He is going to the AFCON. He might play and it might flare up again, and then he's out for another 6 weeks. We've got to be careful. We haven't got loads of cover in areas. You know, that's the thing. It'd be great to win tonight, of course it would. But the manager might make changes and you just got to suck it up and see what happens. Steve Kelly says, all right, lads, hope you're both well. I'd go 4-4-2 tonight. I'd leave Onana out tonight. He's picked up knocks in the last 3 games. He needs taken out. I'd have Gomez and Garner in the middle, and I'd have Chimiti and Beto up top. Why not? Why not? Try something a little bit different. That's the thing
as well. He's right. Onana has picked up a knock. You've seen that at City, and he was carrying that on Saturday.
He wanted to come off, and Dyche wouldn't let him off.
Exactly.
Because there's no one to replace him. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's a difficult one, and I get it, Nick, because you're thinking, we've got an opportunity to win, but the manager has to balance this. If Everton we said this yesterday, I think, if Everton hadn't had the points deduction, and we were on 26 points on the coattails of teams going for Europe, this is a different game again, because you're not in any real danger. If you lose a couple of league games, you're still bobbing around 11th, 12th. There's no real dramas. But just right now, we're 1 point above Luton. You know, we could have got started at Wolves in the bottom 3. And okay, Chelsea done the business, so it meant that the Wolves result was okay. It's just another game out the way. More costly for Luton than Everton. But I don't think just right now we can say we'll be fine, so it doesn't matter. I just don't think we can do that, mate. Even though I agree with you, I think Everton will get more and considerably more points than Luton till the end of the season. Not like crazy more, but I think we'll be comfortable with that. But that's still it still could go either way, though. It's great saying it when there's 18 games left, but you got to do it, haven't you? You got to do it. Chris says, afternoon, lads, don't you think it's hilarious that players play for Champions League sides moan about too many matches, yet if their club fails to qualify for it, what would they do? Look for one that's qualified. Either shut up and put up, or sign for a lesser side that really progresses in any competition. And quit the international stage too. Well, players want it all, Chris, don't they? They want the cake and eat it, the same as what clubs do. Clubs want everything in their favour. Always. They want to play games when there's no games. They want friendlies. They want all the money. They want all the trappings. But as well as that, you do have to look at the big picture, though, and go, when players are playing a lot of games in a short space of time, they will be injuries and there will be tiredness and the quality levels will drop. That's just a fact, isn't it? It's a fact. Listen, I'm never ever gonna put a footballer on the same level as a doctor or a nurse or someone who goes and works in a manual job all bleeding day outside in cold. Of course, they work harder than football players. Of course they do. And of course, footballers are paid crazy money at the top level compared to people who do, in my opinion, more worthwhile jobs than what they do. But that's the business they're in. And we can't ignore the fact that there's pressure and they play a lot of games and there's demands on them. And also, I always think at Christmas, I always go back to the... just Zach reminded me the other day, it was on New Year's Day, it was 5 years since he was a mascot at the Leicester game. One of the worst games of football I've ever seen in my life. The players were destroyed.
Yeah.
It was our 4th game in 10 days or something. It was the worst game of football ever. It was 12:30 on New Year's Day, freezing cold. And it was just, I think that was the day when I was like, something's got to change here. This is terrible. The quality of this football is terrible. And that was supposed to be a Premier League, the best league in the world. The quality was worse than Sunday League standard. Yeah. And the goals or something, Vardy finished it well, but Michael Keane, mistakes and all that. The players were destroyed. And you have to look and go, we have to think about the quality of the product as well. If they like to sell it as the best ever, the best in the world, the most watched, the this, the that. Got to give the players a little bit of a break so that quality level can go up a bit. I disagree with all of their hype, to be fair, but running players into the ground, you end up with injuries. We haven't got the squad, mate, to cope, have we? But I get what you're saying. They do want the cake and eat it, to be fair, but we do also have to recognise that. Certainly, I'm not talking about teams who play in the Champions League and they play over a whole season. That's just part of it, and the clubs are well recompensed for it, and so are the players. But I'm just talking about this period in particular, more likely to pick up injuries.
Yeah, of course you are.
Or players aren't going to be able to give their all. So
they're being asked to do more and more all the time, and it's like, where does it end? You know, more international tournaments, more competitions, bigger Champions League. That's the thing, isn't it? It's like, where does it end? What do you want them doing, playing every couple of days? And it does end up being the games that are affected, not being able to see the best players because the best players are out. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne's injury has been like on and off for like a year, having to go off in the Champions League, missed the first half of the season because he's played a lot of football since he was young, and it's caught up with him, and it's playing international games for Belgium, and there's a lot of players like that who are really important players for their team, and it's going to end up, it will end up catching up, and then you're missing your best players, and it's not. It annoys me, sort of like the way people sort of think footballers are just robots. Like they can just go out and churn out the same performance again and again.
We all do it, don't we? We all go to match, and no, yeah, they can even. But I mean, we all go to match, and we go. You know, we're looking at it and you're going, what's happening here? And you'd expect them to be at 100% every time. Now, you might, like we were saying before, we might say, like tonight, Everton are playing in this cup game and people like, don't make big changes. But those players might be on the pitch, but they haven't got the energy levels. Then they're going to perform at 60%. And then you're going to go, he's crap. He's been crap tonight. He's not bothered. He mightn't have the capability to just getting through games.
We saw that on Saturday. We saw that on Saturday. They were. You looked at them Saturday and you could just tell.
Tarkowski was like, he was 45 on Saturday. He was all over. He's been brilliant. I think he's been brilliant for Everton. Branthwaite looked all over the place at the weekend, and I'm not talking about. You can have them games where striker's got good movements or whatever and he's running out. It was Branthwaite's passing, which is normally crisp. It's touch a couple of times, it bounced away from him. And you see that through ball. You see Onana in the first, like I know he's sometimes loose with his passing, but twice in the first half he put Wolves through by just hitting the ball where he thought a player was. And that's like tiredness in your mind as well. So it's one of them. Bilbo Baggins, yes, it definitely is just you. Who loves Christmas football. Now, loads of people love it, mate. Loads of people love it. I hate it, to be honest. I absolutely hate it. James had mentioned yesterday on More Than a Game, seen Baz the tweet about the appeals process for this year's PSR. It's mad that you can get points taken off you, relegated, appeal the points, then after the season, get the points back and be back in the league.
The whole thing is nonsense.
So the way they've done it, Forest could go down this season because they're apparently on the naughty step, might be getting a points deduction, and then get 6 points back in an appeal and be back in the Premier League. And then the team that celebrated staying up on, could be Luton, could be Everton, could be whoever, on the final day, celebrate staying up, and then next week you're relegated.
Be a big, like a VAR, won't it?
Yeah, you won't be able to
celebrate. I'd be like,
yeah.
See you in 3 weeks.
Just wait. Yeah. We'll get back together in a few weeks. Stevie says, I know, on Santos, I know we couldn't get in the Forest team, but to be fair to them, they do have a strong midfield. Dominguez, Danilo, Sangari, Mangala. He was never getting game time with them. So the low made no sense. Do you think, though, Steve, that he gets into Everton's midfield when Decore, Idrissa Gana, Gay James Garner, Amadou Onana are all available, and Andre Gomez, if he's still here? Do you think that Santos gets in? Forget about Gomez for a minute. We'll put him on the bench. We're safe. He's safe there, hugging people. Now, he's safe if he stays on as a sub. Does Andre Santos get in to that midfield where I've just named those 4 players if they're all fit? And that'll be the thing, won't it, for Sean Dyche? Not saying they shouldn't, by the way. I'm just asking you the question. And Samuel Illing Jr. from Juventus. Yeah, well, Everton again. Everton have monitored that. Nothing's happened with it. Abigail says, had they kept Townsend, he could have given us something. Yeah, definitely. I said Ross. I said it. I know people didn't like it, but I think I watched him at the weekend. He was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The Blues on Ben Godfrey says, I agree, Paddy's not a footballer.
I mean, he is a footballer.
He's an athlete.
He is a footballer, but you know what I mean.
Papa Stingray says, good athlete, but can't play footy, but not sure what qualifies Keane to play then. Gavin Johnson says, do you rate Brownhill from Burnley? Could be good cover for Ghana. Would Burnley sell? Well, he's out of contract in the summer, isn't he? Gavin, I don't know whether they'd sell him now, even for a couple of million. I don't know whether they think, no, we'd rather have him, and see what happens. He's 28, isn't he? He's a hard-working midfielder, that's for sure. Is he what we should be looking? I don't know. I suppose he's one of them. If you have him as a squad player, he's one of those players who can fill in, and when he plays, your levels aren't dropped massively because I don't know. If he's free, maybe. Ken says it's not Godfrey's fault. I like him, but managers haven't improved him. He's 25, no, he's 26. Next week, is it, Ned, did you say? Yeah, 26 in like 10 days. Let him go somewhere and get someone else in who's got the potential to develop. Gavin Cunningham says Godfrey leave him before Keane. Wow. It's the manager has decided, hasn't he? Where am I here? I'd sell Dom if we got the type of money that was touted 18 months ago. Peter says we wouldn't get 50 million for Dominic Calvert-Lewin now, sadly. Peter Roberts said Barkley's playing like he's being managed by Roberto Martinez. Is that good? He was good under Martinez, to be fair, wasn't he? Sean Collins says, how can Harrison be knackered? He's only started playing in October. Have you not watched any games, mate? Have you not been watching Everton in the last few games? He's knackered because he runs everywhere. He works his bollocks off.
We don't have the ball, so the style of play means that it's very tiring on players. That's just fact.
Bilbo Baggins says, here's a controversial one for you. Sean Dyche is the most overrated manager we've ever had. people make him out to be a miracle worker.
No, he's not. Frank Lampard is the most overrated.
And I just don't see it. He's incredibly average.
Frank Lampard is the most overrated.
I think he's. I think people do hype him up to be better than he's done so far, Sean Dyche. There's no question about that. Everton have lost 50% of the games this season, which is awful. Absolutely awful. And we've won about 4 home games under him since he's been here, which is, again, awful. But he has improved us, hasn't he? He's massively improved the away form. Like, massively improved the away form. And it's also been difficult for him as well. He hasn't really had... And I don't think Frank Lampard had it easy either, by the way. I think he had his hand side behind his back. Dyche is at the same thing. But listen, people want someone to cling on to, don't they? And they like the ethic, the work ethic that Dyche has instilled. No issue with that, sound. He's done well. He's done well. Whether you can... If people think he's amazing, then everyone's got their own feelings about managers, haven't he? But he's done well. I don't think we can sit here and say he hasn't done well, because he has, quite clearly. We've won 5 away games this season, which is a hell of a lot. But the home form is a worry for me. He's got to start winning home matches, because that's our bread and butter. If he sorts that out, he'll be sound. Be absolutely sound. Don't know. KB says, on Danjuma's loan being cut short, rumours, would we get the loan fee refunded? Well, yeah, we'd pay half of it, wouldn't we? What we've paid. And obviously wages as well. Sambo said Coleman should start anyway. Needs minutes. Still our number 1 right back. Craig says, if you offered me a win tonight or a win against Villa, I'd take Villa every single time. Sean says Luton have a game in hand. They do, but it's away at Bournemouth, and I fancy Bournemouth to beat them, to be honest with you. Jake says, Baz, how much would you let Onana go for? I wouldn't let Onana go till the summer, mate, no matter who offered what this window. Honestly, even if someone offered us 80 million this window, I wouldn't sell him. And let me qualify that. I just don't know who we would get this window. No, who could fit in and do what in the summer all day long.
Yeah, when there's
all day long. When there's time to plan, absolutely. Think he's a good player. Onana, I think he's got a high ceiling. He's since that penalty miss against Fulham, whether he's been injured or not, I don't. His levels dropped. Absolutely, it has. I just wouldn't let him. He starts every game. We've got to be careful for me. John Hunter says I'd take 90 quid for Dom and drive him wherever he wants to go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. 3L, yeah, full time, mate. We are full time. Yes, Sean. Harrison's knackered because he's played a lot of games in a short period of time. He does loads of running. And you have to remember, when you're a team that doesn't have the ball, you do much more running than your opponents, especially in the way we are, because we're chasing and harrying and getting back into shape. When you're keeping the ball and moving it around, you play at your own pace. That's why. Yeah, Ben Godfrey, definitely injuries has set him back, and so many different managers has set him back. There's no question about that. It's not he's really good or he's really bad. He just hasn't been able to develop. Yeah. That's his problem. And every time he's come into a back four lately, his positional play hasn't been it because he's not played it regularly enough. And that's a problem for him. So the issue is, for Ben Godfrey, do I sit on Everton's bench and hope at some stage I get a run? We've been doing that for a few years. Yeah. He's 26 on the 15th of January. It's not young. No. That he should be established somewhere. And so that's it. That's the problem. It's just been almost like a perfect storm, really. LCC MD7 says, would you take Ben Rama on loan from West Ham with an option to buy?
I don't know. Is he available on loan? I don't think he would be, would he?
No, sure because there's well, even though they won't let Bowen go, there is talk about.
Kudas has gone the African nations, and the other fella's injured, isn't he? What's the other lad's name in midfield?
Who? Which one?
The other one. I can't remember his name.
Not Suchek, he's playing.
No, the other one. No.
He's a centre back.
Begin with P.
Oh, Paqueta?
Yeah.
Is he? Yeah.
Isn't he?
Is he? Ken says, got to feel sorry for Tom Davies, moved to get games, got injured. The manager brought him in, has now been sacked. Yeah, but I think Chris Wilder will give him a go. I think Chris Wilder will have a good look at him, and he's getting back fit again, isn't he? So, Kazuri says Lewis Warrington should have a go. He's in, isn't he? Is he injured? Isn't he back at Everton, Warrington? Because he's injured. He hasn't been given any kind of game time at Plymouth, has he?
No.
And there is talk Everton wanted to terminate the loan and try to get him somewhere else. Everton, Eugene says, Everton transfer news. Ben Godfrey's move to Atalanta collapses after Carlo Ancelotti's intervention.
Why not?
Okay, I don't know about that, Eugene, but thank you for that. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Bobby says, so the whole FFP thing, putting everything aside, why do they make clubs produce finances just before a window? Common sense says it should happen when the window shuts. Maybe.
It's tax year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the tax year, I think. The Blues says, given Deitch has a top 6 level for both offensive and defensive metrics halfway through the season without investment is quite impressive. Yeah. There you go. Gareth Jones says, Keane needs to go. Too many mistakes in his game. Looks like Gomez is coming good. Well, he's different to what we've got, Andre Gomez, isn't he? That's why he's a different midfield player than what we've got. Whether or not he's good enough to play in there, I don't know. Right, the last couple on this before we finish. Martin says, Ped and many others, apathy and giving up on a game's extraordinary. Nah, I don't think he's given up on it, Martin. I think the point you're missing is he said he wasn't excited.
Yeah,
he did say.
Are you dead excited for tonight?
And he did say he wants to win.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's
dead
given
excited
up.
for tonight? Are you like, let's play our best 11 and everything will be fine? I'm not. It's a Thursday night. Thursday night, and it's an FA Cup game. The magic of the cup. Sorry, that's not the magic of the cup, is it? That's not the magic of the cup at all.
Martin says, thank God there are 4,000 Evertonians and many more that see tonight's game in the FA Cup.
Half of them aren't going.
As the only thing of interest.
Yeah.
Martin, we'll see tonight, won't we, mate? We'll see. But we'll see by what the manager's team is. That's the thing. It's dead easy to take offence at what people say. We are sitting here just having a discussion and looking at the whole thing that people seem to miss when we do this. We look at every angle. It's not a conversation just with your mate in a pub, is it? Because that's a different thing altogether. We're looking at every angle and we just try to give how we're feeling about that game that day. If Ped sat here and went, I hope we get beat 5-0 and we're out straight away because I just want us out the cup so we can concentrate. That's it. Then you might go, come on, Ped. He never said that. He said he wants Everton to win. Not excited by the game on a Thursday. Are you really? A Thursday night for an FA Cup tie? It's pathetic. Saturday at 3 o'clock. It should be.
A game that we already know we won't have our best side.
So, listen, they won't have theirs.
The whole thing to me is just like, you're already watering down the FA Cup by playing it on a Thursday night. First game on a Thursday night when you've just come off. That's them already watering the game down, isn't it? And they want us to be excited by it. I can't get excited by it. I want, of course, Everton to win. But the whole thing is just like, again, let's just shoehorn a game. Why could this game could have just been played on Saturday at 3 o'clock? No one would have battered. Who wants to watch Palace versus Everton? How is that? People want to watch Wrexham versus Shrewsbury, and they want to watch, you know, whoever, you know, whoever's got a Premier League team at home who are in the Premier, you know, that's who people want to watch. Who wants to watch? The viewing figures tonight will be Everton fans and Palace fans, and a few strays who go, "Oh, there's a game on." Most people will spend the first 15 minutes trying to find the game.
ITV4. I can't remember the 114, is it, on Virgin or something like that? Bunzy says December schedule is mental, particularly for a small squad. We were doing good. Now I'm concerned with injuries and burnout players. Yeah. What's the wall? Who? With Virgin TV. Now, Wool would have Sky. I'm Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch doesn't own Sky. He did own Sky for many years when you had it. He did own it. So you can pick and choose. I won't do social, but I'll own Sky. Come on. Everyone's got ITVX. Everybody, mate. Well, so why are you going like this? And go on, clarify it. Go on. Why did you just throw ITVX in? Apple TV. Ooh. Got that, mate. Prime. Got that. Yeah. Go on, keep going. I've got that as well. Yeah. So why did you randomly throw ITVX in? I'm interested.
Stop talking. No. You're not on the. Don't stop talking. You're not on the mic.
Ned's just randomly said.
Stop talking. You're not on the
ITVX. I don't understand what that is. Today's Thursday. Oh, that's random, yeah. Oh, I've got a Apple in my car. That's random. As random as what you said, ITVX then, which made no sense whatsoever to the conversation. It's on ITV4, which we've been talking about, not ITVX. Okay. Oh, there's a bottle of water on the desk, and there's a box on the floor. They were just saying random things. We need Manny Fernandez safe on loan. We do, but there's not many of them around. I don't think he starts every game. It's a Santos. I do think he get game time due to our lack of depth. Personally, I'm not sold on James Garner. That's just me. Well, the manager's very sold on James Garner, so Santos wouldn't get in over him. No chance. Nick says Godfrey is a player as a kid who'd be bigger and stronger than everyone else, so clubs picked him up because he's an athlete. Seen loads of players like that. Not great footballers, but fast brick shitters. Yeah, well, he is. You look at him and go, he's got the attributes to be a good defender, like physically and stuff, but it's all about the nuances of dropping into space and plugging gaps in that, and his development has been hammered because he's been injured. Anyway, that's us. We've done longer than I thought we were going to do. We will be on more than a game at 2:15, so get over there for other chat. We're going to get a coffee, and then we'll be there for 2:15. Take it easy. See you in a bit.